Ever since the release of Elemental Well mods, builds in Destiny 2 have been getting crazier than ever. These mods drastically improve ability regen, increase survivability, and help you deal out more damage than ever before. The question is, do they work in endgame content? What's going on, guys? It's G-Miners here, and today I'm showing off 2 Elemental Well builds that work on all characters and work in endgame content like Master Vogue and Day 1 raids. The mods for the first build are much more general and will work on any subclass. Starting off, we will be generating Elemental Wells with the Solar mod Explosive Well Maker. We will also be utilizing the Solar mod Bountiful Wells, which will double the amount of wells that we generate. To actually utilize these wells for more than just ability regen, we are using the Solar mod Well of Life, which will provide us with 10 seconds of constant health regeneration each time we pick up an Elemental Well. This first build will also allow us to get charged with light by picking up wells using the mod Elemental Charge. And finally, we will be consuming these stacks of charge with light using the best mod to ever exist, Protective Light. Using this first build will work on any subclass that you choose. The nice part about using Explosive Well Maker is that many of the top weapon options for endgame content utilize explosive damage. On top of this, almost all grenades in the game count as explosive damage as well. So even when you are not using a GL, rocket, or something else that does explosive damage, you will still be able to generate the Elemental Wells. Bountiful Wells will also double the amount of energy we get back by spawning 2 wells rather than the usual 1. This will help us keep our grenade up and other abilities. If you want this build to work even better, using the Void mods Better Already and Absolution will help keep you alive and provide you even more ability energy when picking up Orbs of Power. If you want your grenades back even quicker, you can also utilize Double Bomber on a Solar subclass, and utilize exotics and subclasses that revolve around grenade regen like Devour and the Omnioculus. My only complaint with Elemental Well builds is that in endgame content it isn't always safe or even possible to grab the wells where they spawn. I tried to incorporate the Arc mod Seeking Wells in this build, but the mod seemed super underwhelming. Wells only track when you're within a few meters, they travel slowly, and I often found that the wells would get stuck on corners or behind objects when trying to travel to you. Before I go over the second variation of the build that only utilizes well mods, if you found this video useful, don't forget to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing is completely free, it helps me out a ton, and you can always change your mind later. Okay, so getting into the second build, the first 3 mods we are going to be using are the exact same as before. Once again, these are Explosive Well Maker, Bountiful Wells, and Well of Life. Instead of using Protective Light in this build, we will be using the Void mod Well of Tenacity to provide us with damage resistance when grabbing wells. This mod requires Void Wells to be spawned, so for this, I recommend the mod Elemental Ordnance. This will spawn wells on grenade kills, but these wells match the element of our subclass, which means for this to work, we will need to be running a Void subclass. In endgame content, this is going to work especially well when Titans run Bubble, Hunters run Tether with Omnioculus, and when Warlocks are on Devour. The Omnioculus will allow you to continually regen grenades as long as you keep smoking yourself and a teammate. The Devour build will provide you with insane grenade regen when getting any kill while Devour is procced. The way this build works is by grabbing Solar Wells, we will once again be receiving constant health regeneration, and now by grabbing Void Wells, we will maintain constant damage resistance. The best part about this build is by throwing a single Void grenade, we will be able to spawn both 2 Solar Wells and 2 Void Wells. That is 4 wells in total, which will also help us get our grenade back extremely fast. Overall, I think these builds will definitely work in endgame content and are viable for the Day 1 raid that will be released with Witch Queen. That being said, I think the biggest downfall, once again, is going to be picking these wells up when ads are focusing you and they drop out in the open with no cover. If you guys are new and want a build that is a bit safer to use and one that I think is just better overall, I'll have a link to my favorite endgame build in the description below. Even with the changes to Orbs of Power that are coming, this build will still work great. I think that a lot of the well builds that exist today are very misleading. Elemental Wells allow you to absolutely dominate in regular activities like normal 6-mans, regular raids, dungeons, strikes, and more. Even builds that are great for Legend or Master content often revolve around completely knowing the entire activity you are playing. I think these two builds that I have are going to be simpler to use and will work well while you are discovering mechanics and making strats for the raid when it releases on day 1. All that being said, I think the area well mods excel in the most is using add clear supers. So I will be putting out some more builds this week revolving around ability regen and super regen when completing add clear mechanics. If you want these builds yourself, I have links to the full set of armor and mods in DIM. If you click the link, DIM should show you what armor you can run this build on using your own account. If you don't have armor available in the proper affinities and with enough energy available, it might not work. But on the left-hand side of your screen, you should be able to see all the mods that I am using and make any adjustments to your own armor that you may need. Let me know if you guys like this build in endgame content. I hope this video helps, guys. Peace.